Something about myself is in my free time, I like to crochet.
My name is Justin. I'm also a body piercer here at DeKalb Tattoo Company. Something about me is that I've always been very interested in body piercings, and I've been doing it for about 6 years now.
Our everyday routine, typically, everyone has their own routine here. For us in particular, it's just opening the shop and making sure that it's tidy, and then we check to see what we're doing for today, for each day, and then we just prepare our things ahead of time. But in general, we just kind of go day by day based off of what needs to happen based on how busy we are with our clients. Everyone has their own routine though.
So when I come in, I like to, if there's anything immediately to be picked up, tidy up, wipe some stuff down, try and prep both the piercing rooms if both are going to be necessarily needed. Ask if there's anything I can do to help anybody out, because I get a bit more ability to kind of float with our appointments not necessarily being as long as tattoo appointments. It gives me the opportunity to see if I can grab anything for somebody, or even if it's just as simple as grabbing some food. All of it's fun and needed.
So we're both piercers, and piercing and tattoos are done through an apprenticeship with a mentor. I started here in 2015 looking to just get into this industry, just because I was getting pierced a lot and showed a lot of interest in it. I just asked for a job here basically, and at the time there was a different owner, and we worked it out, so I was on a trial run for 3 months here, and then I was hired as an apprentice. Then I did the apprenticeship for 6 months to a year, and then after that I was the piercer fully here.
I had been going to the shop where I originally learned from, I think since 2013, I think is when I first started getting tattooed, but I always knew I wanted to be in the industry. I just was not artistically capable of doing tattoos by any means. So I would just consistently, every time I was in there, trying to figure out if there was an opportunity to get an apprenticeship. After several years of being annoying, I happened to get it into an interview process. They were doing open calls for it, and it ended up being between me and another person, and I happened to get it. I had to spend about a year and 2 or 3 months as an apprentice, and this was in Kankakee County, where I'm from. And yeah, after that I was just the full-time piercer until the pandemic.
They should do their research on the artist that aligns with the style of tattoo that they're looking for. If they go to somebody that specializes in a certain type of tattoo that they want, then the results are going to be a lot better. Then the artist is more likely to just do a really good job for the tattoo. If you're going to somebody who doesn't specialize in a specific style, it may not turn out the way that you expected it to, just because they don't work specifically in that style. If you go to an artist who strictly works in black and gray and try to get them to do a color piece, it may not turn out as well in comparison to if you were to just strictly go to a person who works in color. And if they're scared about going into it, artists are generally trained to help people through the whole process and make it comfortable for them. I do my best to try to make everybody comfortable by explaining what's going to happen, so they know step to step the whole process for a piercing, for example. I don't like to surprise anybody or scare them by just not explaining what I'm about to do to them. So going into it, they'll know this is what's going to happen. And even if it does hurt, we are way more capable of something that we think that we are. Anticipation leading up to it is always worse than actually getting it. So actually getting it done, once it's over, you're really gonna think it's not that then the result out of it will make it like worth it, even if it wasn't comfortable.
Oh, absolutely. I like to piggyback off that thought. Like the idea of research is so absolutely key when it comes to like tattooing and making sure that the artist that you're booking with is like the artist for that job. Like, you know, not wanting something black and gray but going to a color artist, or like wanting a traditional only artist to do like photorealism. You might not have the exact kind of results that you're hoping for. And just as well as to take your time to figure out, you know, the exact artist necessary. I feel like, especially from my own friend group, I'll get messages like, oh, this money's burning a hole in my pocket, can I get in for this piece today? It's like, why don't take a minute, find the exact artist that you're looking for, and like don't just go out immediately to some random place for this piece that means a lot for you. To make sure that, you know, the artist that you're finding is the one that you envision, and ideally at the end of that piece should be very reflective of it. Yeah.
As long as you're being present in the shop, that's like what gets them familiar with you. We're way less likely to take somebody in if they've never even been to our shop before, even as a client. I think that the reason why like I was able to get into this is because I was always at the shop, like getting piercings and talking to the artist and just being like their friend, and just showing up basically, and doing what I can to like show that I was interested and like dedicated to this, and not just like it was a sporadic decision type of like move on my part. Because some people may approach it in the sense of like, this is just a job you can just receive and do and then be done with it, but it takes a lot more. It turns into like your whole lifestyle basically if you get into this. So you do have to be very like open to that type of dedication, and showing that ahead of time is what gets people like into it easier. So getting tattoos a lot at the shop that you want to work at, and getting like piercings done, being familiar with the people who work there, that type of like stuff shows like that you are more interested than like other people.
I would say when it comes to like apprenticeships, there are a lot of not very like good ones, in a sense of like, you, upon getting out of it, because it was kind of how mine went, I had to befriend a lot of other piercers to figure out those gaps in my knowledge that my mentor didn't quite fulfill for me. So if I could like go back and do it all over again with the guarantee that I was able to get an apprenticeship, I would probably search even more, make that search out wider to find a more positive shop to start at, to where piercing wasn't so much of a quick exchange of money, but it was thought at and is viewed as seriously as it is like where I work now, currently here. It's not just something that is quick money for a shop. Like there's a lot of knowledge and education that goes into being the absolute best piercer that you can be. And if I could go back and talk to pre-apprentice Justin, like, you should look a little longer. Like, you should find that good happy home, so you're not having to scramble to pick up the gaps that I should have been properly taught in the first place. And I thank all of the piercer friends that I did make, because I don't know if I didn't have that network that I would have been able to get through it and have the same type of outlook that I currently have in this field. Because you have to be showing up, you have to have the right attitude. Like, this isn't just any other kind of job. Like, it's, you know, you're helping modify people's bodies. You know, people can have so many different variety of reasons for doing so. So if you're just looking at it as like, you know, my old job at Jimmy John's, it's not the same thing. Like, it's not just something where you can turn your brain off and not try and like connect and help with your clients.
It doesn't necessarily have to have a meaning. You could get it just because you want it. I don't think that we have to give meaning to everything. A lot of people do just approach piercings without even like realizing that this does have a significant meaning until after it's all the way done. and they look in the mirror and realize that that's like what they were missing the whole time. It doesn't have to be like approached in the sense of like, I'm getting this because of this reason. It could just be like, you are going through something like stressful and you need that reconnection back to your body. So people approach piercings and tattoos to get that connection back so that they're able to like love their body again, or like rediscover some type of like view in the mirror that they never had before, so that they are able to like gain confidence or just really have like control over like a situation. Like if they're going through something painful in their life and they want to get a piercing done because it's like a way to experience like a consenting form of pain, so that you're able to take your mind and body like into somewhere else, like that isn't necessarily based off of like the pain and experience that you're currently having. It's hard to explain it. It's like a very like special like moment that happens when you are piercing people, and not everybody knows it until it's like over, that that's like this little like check mark in their life, like, and that reminder is just there, and people just keep coming back for that type of stuff. So being there to like guide people through that type of thing like makes it all like worth it. Like it's not just like a quick piercing and you're done and that's it. For some people it can be, but for the most part a lot of like the people that I work with go here for like a reason.
I would say absolutely to that. There's like for tattoos, I'd say like just as many meaningful tattoos I have absolutely like random goofy things tattooed on my body, and I love them both like equally. When it comes to piercings, like there are definitely those clients where it's not just like I just want to pierce my lobe real quick, where there's an underlying meaning, like there's a journey that they've been going through to get to this point. Like I've had lots of clients use like the whatever piercing they're about to get as like the reward for whatever they just went through. Like for example, I've had clients come through like, you know, I just finished my weight loss journey and this was what I'm doing for myself, and like both of those ideas and thought processes are awesome. Like I love to be a part of that end goal, that giving the client the type of gosh, I'm losing my train of thought now. Giving them that finish that they were looking for to like cap off that journey or whatever type of growth they may have been experiencing.
So it was a little like different for us, I guess. Like, well, I became the owner in November 2019, and we were at like a different location before. I remodeled that location at that time, and we finished our renovations in March, and I was like, wow, finally we can like enjoy the shop. And then 2 weeks later they're like, no, all the businesses have to shut down now. So then like we had about like vaguely 2 weeks of like our new shop like we were working in, and it was really nice. And then they were just like, yeah, there's this deadly virus, you should not be working. So like we ended up closing a lot earlier than we were like, I guess like we left our business like early on because safety was like something that we were focusing on like primarily. So we just decided to close very early March, and we were actually not able to come back until I think June. But when we came back, everybody wanted tattoos and piercings, because I feel like when you're like inside all day, all you can do is just think about what can I do to myself, and like everybody wanted to get that like reconnection back to their body through like piercings and tattoos. So we became like way busier than we ever were, and it just kept going and going, and we haven't really slowed down in a sense. It's just been like, it keeps getting better, I guess. There hasn't really been like a time where since pre-pandemic where it's been like even slower, so that's like a huge positive for us. And we switched over to being like appointment only. So at the time, like when we were first opening back up, we were kind of nervous about only taking appointments, and before we were just like a walk-in style like studio. So switching all over to appointments actually like worked out really nice for us. Like having like the control of our days and seeing like what the day will be like ahead of time and having more one-on-one time with the client was like a huge plus. And we didn't think it would like work out as well as it did, but we still are operating like very similarly. I don't know, I feel like I go out a lot to like hometown. I think that's a pretty good like little business to visit. It's like bar, restaurant, and they have like a lot of different types of like shows there, like drag shows I think happen there. El Jimador, oh, the bell just rang when I said that. El Jimador is like a restaurant that we go to. Fargo Skate Park, that's a good one. Lord Stanley's. Trying to think of all the other ones that are around here that I go to.
Say, I basically only come here, and I've just been starting to explore myself personally.
There's a lot of shops like downtown DeKalb. Ooh, I like Mindful Tattoo. They're really nice. And they're right next to Fargo. And I'm like trying to think of everybody that like I would recommend. This is hard.
It is hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening downtown DeKalb area. But yeah, just more local owned stuff. I don't really feel like promoting any like huge corporations that are like big chains of all that matter, but yeah, just little businesses around here are good to like support and check out. So yeah. Thank you for watching.
Peace out.